This is Jonathan. I'm sure you've heard of him. Multi-billionaire, playboy extraordinaire, and one of the most famous people on earth. But you already know all this. Why am I troubling myself? Let's go back to the beginning. Now, when I said Jonathan was rich, I meant rich. He ate money, he drank money, and he breathed money. And he often spent his money in some unwise ways.
My bed is draped in Gucci linen. I never said I love you to these women, no. Unless you was my mama, yeah. I take a shot and tell her you can have anything you want here. Ooh, when I call me Papa, yeah. Oh, they saying I'm a problem, yeah. I'm high as a bird, Nelly Furtado, yeah. No Nelly, it's getting hot in here. Whoa.
Oh, man. I wish I had more self-control. I spent all my money and now I'm depressed. Is there any meaning in life? Is there any happiness? What am I gonna do?
Jonathan.
Who's there?
Jonathan!
Who's that?
Jonathan, enter the hole!
What?
Enter the hole.
Well, I mean, I'm already depressed, but there's nothing left to lose, right? Where am I?
This is Athens, who are you?
I don't know, man. I heard a voice telling me to go through a hole, but am I dreaming?
I know the halls can be confusing, but you're the Spartan Captain Jonius, I presume?
Well, yes, no, but I'll...
Yeah, please take a seat.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name.
My name is Plato, and I'm an Athenian philosopher who also happens to run weekly wrestling matches.
Play-Doh? Like the clay stuff?
Clay stuff?
Never mind. I assume that the two hooligans in front of us are your students?
Yes, they are. Those hooligans would be more than willing to wrestle you later on if you're willing.
Well, I haven't really wrestled. This would be my first time.
You Spartans love your sword fights, but not wrestling, I suppose.
Well, maybe it's just me. I just haven't been doing any physical activity lately.
Why is that?
Well, I've lost motivation to do anything. I've become depressed. I don't know why I'm even on this world. I mean, I've just not become happy. I'm unhappy.
Why?
Well, I once was the richest person where I live, and I gambled all my money, and now I've lost all of it.
I see. Go on.
Well, I do have enough money to survive, but I'm not rich anymore. That's what's making me upset.
My child, you're thinking of it all wrong. How can money bring you happiness?
What do you mean? That's the only thing that can make me happy, and has ever made me happy.
So you're saying that you were happy when you had lots of money?
Of course.
Really? Well, were you satisfied with the money you had then?
Well, yeah, kinda. The money that I had was great, and I also wanted more. That's also the reason why I gambled, which I lost it because of gambling.
That's precisely my point. You weren't happy then, and you aren't happy now because you're trying to attain happiness through material possessions. Happiness flows not from the material, but from the spiritual. It comes through living a life of justice.
What does that even mean?
Think of it this way. Look at my two finest students wrestling before us. Both are wrestling in order to exercise their physical bodies, for exercise leads to health. Now, health in this case is a kind of proper function within the body that can be brought about through constant exercise. Similarly, justice, which is a kind of proper function within the soul, can be brought about through the constant exercise of virtue.
Okay, and how does justice connect with happiness?
The life of the just man is both better and happier because his soul is working properly. Because the virtue of the soul is justice, the soul who is virtuous is also happy. Therefore, a just man lives happy. An unjust man cannot.
Well, how do I become just?
You must set your gaze away from the physical pleasures and instead look to the good. Once you know what is good, you will begin to seek after it. Only then will you become more just and subsequently more happy. For justice and happiness are linked such that it would be impossible to have one without the other.
Okay, I think I get it. I need to set my eyes on what's good.
Precisely.
Wait, but how do I...
Hey, it's your time to wrestle! Well, it looks like our time is up. It was wonderful meeting you, Jonius. I do hope that you heed my words. Remember, look to the sun and not to the shadows. Leave the cave and experience the light!
Okay.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about control, and if you can take it, it's all about control. And if you can play it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control. No way you can.
Oh, you are awake now?
What? Where am I? Well, who are you?
Oh, take it easy. Calm down. I'm your physician, Aristotle.
Whoa, Aristotle? I remember you when I was talking with Plato.
You talked to teacher Plato?
Yes, he was telling me how I can be happy and live a good life, but I had to go wrestle someone and then I got knocked out.
Jonius, Plato is long gone. You were in a coma for 20 years.
What? You know what? I don't care. I lost everything. I still don't know how I can be more just and happy.
What happened?
Well, I mean, I told this to Plato, but I lost everything. I lost all my money and all my possessions, and I won't be the same again.
Well, happiness doesn't come from an abundance of material possessions.
Yeah, that's what Plato said too.
Well, he's right. I would describe happiness as the final, self-sufficient, and perfect end of man that can only be achieved through the proper function of the soul.
Well, Plato also told me similar to that. He said that proper function comes about through justice and virtue.
Again, he is correct. Because this proper function can only come about through virtue. The good of the man is an activity of the soul in conformity with virtue or excellence. Actions that conform with virtue are naturally pleasant, and so such actions are not only pleasant to those who love the noble, but they're also pleasant in themselves.
Then how am I to become virtuous?
You need to first know what you're aiming for. Do you know the good? And if so, has this knowledge been truly internalized?
I don't understand.
Understandable. Here, let me give you an example. Think of a harpist. The function of a harpist is to play the harp, and if he has high standards, his function is to play the harp well. In the same way, the good of man is an activity of the soul in conformity with excellence or virtue. That is why I believe that the happy man is one whose activities are an expression of complete virtue, who is sufficiently equipped with external goods, not simply at a given moment, but to the end of his life.
To the end of his life? So people can be happy when they're dead?
Well, the happy man will remain happy throughout his life because he will always, to the highest degree, do and contemplate what is in conformity with virtue.
Okay, anyway, what exactly is virtue to you and how do I acquire it?
Well, virtue is the mean between two extremes. For example, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. You have to know yourself and where you are in the extremes. Then you should incline towards the other extreme in order to go closer to the mean.
I never thought of it like that. But it makes sense.
You also have to be really careful with emotions, for too much of one will lead you to an extreme. You have to experience the right emotions at the right times, toward the right object and people, for the right reason and in the right manner.
Well, I don't know how I'll be able to do that because my emotions just take over me all the time.
Yes, being in control of your emotions is very hard. You must try your best to use your reason to guide your passions, to control your desires. But don't force yourself because virtue requires choice. You have to acquire virtue through practical wisdom and habituation in order to love the noble and the good.
Jonathan!
You again?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, nobody. It's fine.
Jonathan, look at the painting above you.
Oh, I see it.
Touch Aristotle's right leg.
Whoa! Where am I?
You are entering the realm of C.S. Lewis. You are sitting on one of the 40,000 C.S. Lewis boxes around the globe.
Are you a robot?
What? No. So basically, I am here to tell you that...
Are you here to give me directions?
What? No! Listen, Jonathan.
Wait, how do you know my name?
Haha, never mind that. I am a C.S. Lewis box equipped with all your C.S. Lewis needs, available for a limited time.
What?
I am here to tell you that Christianity is the only religion that provides a meaning and purpose for our lives.
What is Christianity?
Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Christianity is a belief that provides an explanation to the human problem as well as how humans can attain happiness through virtue. God designed the human machine to run on itself. Thus, we cannot be truly fulfilled by material things.
What are these virtues, though? I remember Aristotle teaching me how happiness is a life in conformity with virtue.
Aristotle does talk about the virtues similar to Christianity. However, let me get into more specific virtues in Christianity. Now, what do you claim to be your virtue at this moment?
Well, before coming into this crazy dimension, I was living a life of wealth. I still don't understand how wealth cannot be praised. If it fulfills me, then it must be a virtue, right?
You see, Jonathan? When the devil put into the heads of our remote ancestors was the idea that they could be like gods. And out of that hopeless attempt, we have been desiring things like war, classes, slavery, and for you, money. This is a terrible desire that humans possess, which distracts us from wanting things other than God.
Oh, wow. Then what are these specific virtues I can cultivate?
Well, for you, young Padawan, you must cultivate the virtue of charity.
Why charity?
Well, Jonathan, charity is essential to the Christian life and to the very soul itself. Charity fixes our eyes on the things that don't necessarily benefit ourselves. but benefit the goods for others.
I see how that may be essential to my depression. Speaking of depression, I've been, suffering through a lot of it.
I see. Depression is a sin that hurts your own self. What you need is hope. Hope is a virtue that enlightens our eyes to look forward and to the eternal world as a form of wishful thinking. As Christians, we must look to the hope that is in God and not of this world.
I see what you're saying, but I'm still a bit confused on this whole Christianity part.
Yes, this is where the virtue of faith comes in. Faith is a little complicated. To offer a quick definition, it simply means believing that the doctrines of Christianity are true.
Wow, this is a lot to take in. Christianity is more complicated than I thought.
Yes, it is, Jonathan. Christianity is very complicated.
Okay, thank you, C.S. Lewis Box.
Anytime, young Padawan.
Wait, hold on. You're not a box.
You weren't supposed to do that. My Christian fans are about to come here any second now. There's someone I'd like you to meet. Climb into this box.
Oh, good lord! Who in God's name are you?
Oh, look. There's this crazy thing going on right now. I don't understand what's going on. What? Look, I don't know. Wait, who are you?
I'm Gilbert Keith Chesterton.
Okay, what? I'm so confused right now.
I see. Well, is there a reason why you're here?
Not that I know of. I mean, I've been thrown around a couple times already, from Plato to Aristotle to Lewis and now to you.
You met Plato and Aristotle? But who's this Lewis?
Ah, shoot. Never mind.
Well, what did Plato tell you?
Well, I started off by telling them that I was depressed and unmotivated to do anything because I had lost all my money from gambling. And then Plato explained to me how living virtuously is the only way to gain true happiness, and that I should live to better my soul, and rather than for my bodily pleasures, like the money I lost.
I see. Sounds about right. And Aristotle?
Well, he told me more of the practical side of living, including the mean between two extremes and being virtuous and being able to choose the way of the virtue.
Once again, sounds about right. And this Lewis fellow you mentioned, what did he tell you?
Well, you probably don't know him, but he introduced me to this new idea called Christianity.
Really? And do you accept this new concept of Christianity? Do you believe it's true?
Well, I'm not really sure. It seems good and all, but I'm just too new to this whole concept, and I don't know if it's reliable or not.
I see. Well, what's so confusing?
Well, Lewis mentioned that there are separate Christian virtues that were different from Aristotle's and Plato's virtues. I think some of them were like faith, charity, and hope, but Plato and Aristotle told me something different.
Yes, well you see, there are three mystical virtues which Christianity has not adopted from our pagan world, but in fact they invented it. And these virtues are faith, hope, and charity. Conforming to these Christian virtues and pagan virtues together, just like Plato and Aristotle mentioned, is the first component to living a fulfilling life.
What's the second component?
Well, what does Plato and Aristotle lack? They lack an omniscient, omnipotent, and an omnipresent God.
Well, why is that important?
What do you mean, why is it important? Christians are only free because we do not lack a God. There are no adventures in the land of anarchy
but there can be a number of adventures in the forest of doctrine and design. And think about it, Plato and Aristotle are dead. No matter how great their teachings were, they inevitably ended up dead. Do you think it would be better if people had the same relationship with God as Plato had with Aristotle?
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely learn more.
Exactly. And guess what? Christianity provides Christians with the same type of relationship as Plato and Aristotle. By definition, God cannot die. He is always with us and is always keeping us accountable. He is the culmination of everything the ancient philosophers have been pointing to: goodness, truth, and beauty.
Wow, Christianity really does have it all, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Jonathan, re-enter the hole.
Okay, Lord. Jonathan, come into the light!
Wait, what is this?
Look up. Enter the hole, Jonathan. Sorry, it's just too funny. Jonathan. Jonathan.
What?
Jonathan!
Who's there?
Jonathan, enter the hole!
Isaac!
3, 2, 1, go. What the?
Doesn't come from an abundance of
Oh my
What was that pause? What was that pause?
Whoa, where am I?
Wait.
Entering the realm.
Yo, you.
What?
I'm here to tell you that Christianity is the only religion.
Ah, Andrew! Oh my god.
Did you see why we're having so much trouble?
What is Christianity?
Here, Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Christianity is a belief that provides an explanation to the human problem, as well as how humans can improve happiness and virtue.
Bro, you can't do this.
Take some breath. Hey,
Dude. Okay.
take some breath.
Are you good? That was good. That was good.
I can't get out.
Good job.
The back
No, but
hurts.
we're... Why are you so good? No, once you start, I'm gonna walk off.